So last time we talked about the table. So today we are going to create a project, and to exercise ourselves. So and that project is going to be the periodic table. For those who doesn't know about the periodic table, you can just go Google it. So let's dive into it. So first of all, I have to start with my HTML basic structure. So inside of here, I'm just going to create a table, opening and closing table, the periodic table. So looking at the periodic table, first of all, I need to output this. Let's copy part so we'll be able to see whatever we are writing. So copy part, and I'm going to paste it here. So you can still do your review in File Explorer if you choose to. So my browser is already open. So if you check the periodic table, you've seen that the first row has only 2 elements in it. So we are going to start with that one. So we're going to create the first row. So creating this first row, we're going to create that 2 elements, which is a. So using the TD, we're going to create the element TD, enter, TD, H, and there TD, HE. So HE. So in between it, I'm going to create for the last to compensate for the last space. I'm going to create another TD, but an empty one. So now counting the table, you find out that the table has 18 rows. So minus this first H and the HE, then you notice that what we have there is going to be 16. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a cospan. So I'm going to apply it here, and I'm going to say cospan. So I'm going to say 16. Now when I refresh, you're not going to see that separation that you really expect. So the reason why is it's not necessary yet. So the more you add more columns, more rows, you find that the thing will start expanding. So I'm going to create the second row. So the second row, TR. So in this TR, I'm going to create. So looking at it, you find out that we have 2 at the left and 6 at the right. So I'm going to create TD. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to come to the head and put my style. So put my style. So opening style. Now I'm going to call the TD and style it TD, then curly braces. So let me give it color, so we'll be seeing whatever background color. Give it a color blue, so we'll be seeing whatever we are styling, so we can be able to see whatever we are styling. So now back to our. So I don't even really care about the real elements that's inside of it. So I'm just going to use any element to represent any name. So I'm just going to write. So I think this is boring, but I don't really care. I'm just going to put anything there. So let me just use PW. So now I'm going to create an empty for you can put the actual element, but I'm just going to be using any element. So I'm going to say TD, an empty one. So and then I'm going to create for the 6. So TD for the 6. So I'm going to use, let me say DC. Let me use it in capital letters, DC. So I will duplicate this DC 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now refresh. Is it? So now you see that I'm still not getting. You see that the first one just expanded. So I'm just going to come now. Now minusing this is 2 and this is 6. that which is 8, minusing it from the 18 columns, what you have is 10. So here I'm going to put cool span 10. Cool span 10. Refresh, you see that in just this space is going to be filled now. So I'm going to duplicate this first row. Like I say, I don't really care about the elements. I'm just going to, you can fill it your own self. So I'm going to duplicate this because this second row and the third row are similar. So I'm going to duplicate it. So now the next thing I'm going to do is now create the fourth row, sorry, which is complete. So the fourth row, TR, then we have our TD. So this one here I'm just going to use, like I said, any element. I don't really care whatever is inside. So I'm going to duplicate this one 18 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the complete 18. But watch what happens when I refresh. See, I think just expand, giving us that periodic table structure. So I'm going to create the second row, the next row. So I'm going to make this okay, I'm going to create TR, so also TD. So I'm just going to use CA. So to make sure that I did not actually over, let me refresh. So let's refresh. So okay, I think remove one, I just made a mistake, that one. So refresh. So this is it. So what I'm going to do is to make it 4, I'm going to highlight this one to duplicate it. So the two of them, I'm going to highlight it, and there we go. To make it 4, duplicate the two of them. So this is what I get. So now I'm going to design the table. Let's go to the style sheet and design the table. So first of all, I need to get rid of, so let's talk about the width, the table itself. Table, curly braces. So I'm just going to give it margin auto because it's still just the only thing there. So margin auto to perfectly center it. So next thing I'm going to do is, so I'm going to press enter. So I'm just going to press enter, and I'm going to say, so width. So I'm going to give it width. So I want it to be 80% of the screen. So 80% of the screen. So let me refresh. So I'm going to call it, come inside the TD, I'm going to give it a padding. So padding of, let's say 10px. So I don't want to, so text align, center. So let's refresh and let's see what we just did. Okay, right, this is okay. So next thing I'm going to do again is, so let's just expand it and see what we got. Okay, it's okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the color. Before I get rid of the color, I need to create the other box. So looking at the other box, you find out that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the ending. So I'm going to come down to this ending and I'm going to say td, so sorry, tr, because I'm creating a second row. But what I'm going to do is I need to create that space here. I'm just going to do here, I'm just going to create an empty tr. Since we are not doing using the css, much of the css now, I'm going to be using a tweak. I'll be creating tr, just an empty td. So here I'm just going to say span 18, span 18, to create that long space in between 18. So now I'm going to go again, I'm going to create the next tr for the box. So looking at that tr, we find out that, so you find out that there is an empty phrase. So I'm going to create that empty one. So I'm going to use td. So I'm going to apply span and row span in order to do that. So I'm going to say td. The first td, I'm going to give it a span 2 and a row span. So it's going to be an empty td. So I'm going to say span 2 and space row span 2. So creating the first space. So now I'm just going below it, I'm going to create, so counting that, so it's now 17. So looking at it, it's 17 boxes, 17 row. So I'm going to create, so tr, sorry, it's not 17, so it's 15. So I'm going to create my td. So I'm going to use any other element ga to represent it. Like I said, I don't really care about the actual element, so I'm going to say ga, so make it 15. So this is 4. So again, is for the ending space, I can just create an empty td here. So an empty td, and I'm going to call that one, give that one a column span. So a row span, not a column span, row span, just give it 2. So with that, I think now I'll create the last row, which is 15 also. So the last row, so let's refresh, see what we got. So if I create the last row, so the last row, which is going to be tr, I'm going to say enter, and I'm going to apply td. So I'll say let me use any language, so let me say xa. So 2 3 4 5 6 7. So refresh, this is it. So this is our structure. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of the colors. So go and get rid of the colors. So get rid of this blue color, I'm going to comment on it. So refresh. Now I can now apply the colors to whichever one I want. So for the H, I'm going to give the H its own color. So I'm going to say background color, style. So still using our inline element style. So I'm going to say background color. So I'm just going to give this one the blue. So refresh, this is it. So now you can still give any of them. So for this one, once you can just start giving all the elements the colors one by one. So the only one you shouldn't be, you will know you will never give color, is the one with the span. You can give them the color you want. Let me say I give this one red. Style. So this is it. So you can choose and give them colors the way you want. So you can continue it from this part here. So already following this pattern, all you just need to do is use the inline style, apply the background color, and give it make the color light. So I think you are complete for here. Just try and complete the remaining one. So let me see how you actually do this. You can just post your project, link to your project, and show me what you have already done.